Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to pivot from working the COVID unit to getting sponsorship to starting your own business? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to equip healthcare professionals to be wealthy in all areas of their lives. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. You can follow us on Twitter at the Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing. You're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please share this video. We have a group called the Nurse Nurturer on Facebook that you can join to receive uplifting content for healthcare professionals. Visit us at our website at vpnursing.com and remember to hit the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and leverage the knowledge that you already know as a nurse. Our special guest today is Melissa Cortez. I'm super excited. When we get on a call, we talk, we talk, we talk. We just met each other, really.
Thank you so much, Dr. V. I'm really, really excited to be here.
Sweet, sweet. So now give us a brief bio of you and what's your primary reasoning for becoming a nurse?
So actually I wanted to be a marine biologist and my dad was like, I'm not helping you pay for that. So he took Forbes magazine and slid it across the table about 12 years ago and was like, these are the top 10 upcoming jobs. You may pick one of those. And I said, well, I'm kind of good at biology. So I picked nursing. And I fell in love with it. I really did. I didn't get into nursing school the first time because it's super hard. I know it's like 10 times harder than it was because, we just don't have the teaching staff to accumulate, all these nurses. But I ended up getting in the second time and persevered through that. And then I fell in love with critical care. So wasn't a great test taker, but if you drop dead, I'll probably save your life.
That's the important part there.
So that's kind of how I became a nurse. And then it was what I was supposed to do. The universe, God will drive you in that direction. You just don't even know it. So, and then I did critical care, traveled for 7 years. My husband's in the military, so that was a great option because we were able to, go back and forth between different locations. And then I could use the travel company and make pretty good money and provide for we have 3 little boys. So.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Now, when we first met, you said that nursing was causing some stress in your life. So tell us about the stress that you have encountered being a nurse.
So, like she said, I went from COVID to starting my own business, but I worked the COVID crisis assignment. When COVID hit, I saw it on the news in Italy, and I knew it was coming. And being a critical care, pulmonology is my background, and then a traveler, I was like, yeah, I gotta go. I can't sit here and watch this. This is just horrible. And my husband, being military, understood that sense of duty and was like, okay, and help me pack up. And at that point, we were intubating nurses. So I redid my will. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And luckily when I got there, Mass Gen had it all right. They really ran a great facility in a pandemic, but nursing was stressful before the pandemic.
Right.
Then you put it on this, and it's like you work 12, 3 12s a week. Some people are working 4, and then you have to get home and do stuff with your kids, and now they're doing online school, and it's that amount of stress. And then when you're in the facility, it's like, do you have enough PPE? Do you have the resources that you need? Sometimes we're 4 to 1 with ICU patients that we're usually 1 to 1. So it's like you have this, even though everyone's like, it's okay, it's a pandemic, it doesn't change the fact that in nursing, you are taught certain things. And I think one of the hardest things for me was you're taught that your patients don't die alone. And they were all, sometimes I couldn't be there. I had to choose between the patient that might like it and then the patient that wasn't going to. And you just walk back in the room and they would be gone. And there was no one to sit with them. Everybody else was stretched just as thin. And, as nurses, when we're in that environment, even if your unit isn't the closest unit, you all work together. You have to, or you won't make it. And, we would try and watch each other's patients, but it was just to the point where I seriously, I worked trauma for many years in Baltimore City. We averaged 9 gunshot wounds a night. So, it was serious trauma, and I never had PTSD until this COVID assignment. And that kind of motivated me. I was like, okay, here's a problem. And I'm the type of person that's like, if I see a problem, I want to fix said problem. And I said, I really can't fix the systemic errors, the systemic issues, staffing ratios, the lack of pay, the lack of PPE. Those are things that I can't fix, but I can fix teaching people how to respond to the environment and remembering that their energy is sacred, and that what you choose to give your energy to is a choice. And I'm not saying that you don't do your best job for your patients and you show up every day, but unless you take that time to refuel yourself first, you're not good to anybody, including your family. And there are really awesome techniques and ways to do that throughout your day, and your days off and your days there.
That's one thing that I didn't know. And I tell the story all the time about how when my child was younger, I remember getting on a plane, and the lady over it was one of my first times riding a plane. And she said, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And I was like, well, no, if I do that, then this child won't survive. But what I didn't understand is that if I don't survive, then I can't take care of her. And so, and as nurses, we put other people first. And the reality is that if we don't pour back into ourselves first, we have to pour from our overflow, like not just our cup, but our saucer, right? We have to pour from that piece of us in order for us to be able to survive.
And, Florence Nightingale said this 200 years ago. If you look at her quotes, she talks about women and how women were expected to be certain things and to she would call them like womanly duties that were required, but why are they required? And she talked about that 200 years ago, and she did, the Crimean War and influenza and all that stuff. And here we are again in a pandemic in the year of the nurse, because it's Florence's 200th birthday. It's like she's coming back from the dead. She's like, hello. Y'all not listening to anything I said 200 years ago? If not, here's a pandemic, and I'm going to deal with it. It's about time for y'all nurses to put your big girl panties on and fix this situation. I love you. The papers, read them.
I love you. You're so funny.
Here we are. Florence told us to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves.
Well, you answered my next question, which was you recently pivoted into your business. Tell us why you decided to go into your business. Was because you felt like you could not help on the other side and change it to another role.
It's still difficult for me right now to watch what's going on and hear the travel companies calling me. We need you. But I know that I'm going to be able to reach more people with Cortex. So Cortex Energy Systems is what I call an energy alignment system, because we already have the energy, depending on your beliefs, God gives you the energy, or the universe gives you the energy. And we just have to figure out how to navigate and how to align that energy to make it function the best for us. So we strive to be the premier partner in nurse resilience. So we partner with organizations, individual nurses, different industries to make sure that we're providing evidence-based systems. So everything that we have in our 3 pillars, of course, community and change, are all research-backed, evidence-based, because that's nursing. That's how we're taught, and that's how we practice. So we use mindfulness, meditation techniques from kind of corporate mindfulness. We use nutrition. We use we're doing these awesome metaphysical boxes that even have a salve that's designed to help the nurses protect their faces with the masks. And we've got a lot of wonderful people that are stepping forward because they're like, yes, we have to do something for these nurses. So Cortex is kind of just that energy alignment system to put it all together and then give it out to these nurses.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, What are, and you just answered my next question. I think that you were, I think you over there reading my questions.
I don't know about
Do what now?
I don't know about that, but
So, what are some things that you think nursing organizations can do to be a beacon of light and for healthcare professionals through this pandemic?
I first want to say that I've been a DON, I've been kind of middle management, and y'all got it tough right now. I mean, those nurse managers, I bet they cried themselves to sleep knowing that they really are operating in this box that's, they operate in this very creative box. You have to say yes to above and yes to below. And how do you make all that work? And I think the systemic things are not going to change overnight.
Right.
We have to change them eventually, but
Right.
they're not going to happen overnight. I think one of the things that you can do is really equip your nurses to be, like I said before, resilient and strong. And the way to do that is encouraging self-care, but also to search out ways that you can change the unit energy, to search out ways that you can be present. I think there's a lot of awfulizing that's done in nursing. So what I mean by that is someone comes in your office as a manager and they say, oh, it's so terrible and it's so awful. And the nursing assistant and blah, 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 blah. And as a manager, you sit there and you listen and you're like, I know, I'm so sorry. I know. But I know is awfulizing, is saying, yeah, it's the way it is. And we have to get through this together. But that's saying it's okay to be awful. Everything's okay to be awful. But instead, there's a way to say, okay, I hear you. And here are some techniques that we can use. The next time that happens, remember that don't let them take your energy. If there's a story about Buddha walking down the street and someone says to Buddha, oh, I hate you, Buddha. Your teachings are so bad. And he goes, no, thank you. And the guy's like, what do you mean, no, thank you? And he's like, no, thank you. I do not accept your gift of hate.
Wow.
You're trying to give me the gift of negativity and hate, and I don't accept it. And they walk away. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to problem solve and work as a team and deal with things, but at the same time, you don't have to allow that energy to influence you.
That's
you
right.
can say, my energy is sacred. This is my space. That's your space. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I know that I'm doing what's best for my patient and I'm advocating, and I need you to do your job.
I love that. I love that.
So,
I love it.
I think that there's a lot of different opportunities for leaders to learn different techniques that are from other areas like corporate mindfulness training. And unfortunately in nursing, you're so busy. You're so busy with the tasks. You're so busy with trying to make sure patients are safe, and in a pandemic, it's like they don't have the resources. They're doing the best that they can, but we don't really give them the tools. And that's kind of what I love about Cortex, is that it's a tool that's ancient that can apply in any situation.
I appreciate, the fact, because I think that a lot of times what happens is, as staff, and I'm not saying anything about staff bad, but sometimes it's not understood, right? When you know better, you do better, right? And so this is something that is unprecedented, and we didn't know about it. We didn't understand it at first, and we're still trying to grapple with it and still trying to understand how to deal with it. So giving a little grace to the leaders in the organization, because it's tough, right? It's tough. And so we want to, give them the grace to say, okay, maybe you've done the best that you could in this situation because you just didn't know any better, because we are in a pandemic that we've never been in before. This is not normal workings right now.
Right. And I mean, we shouldn't dismiss the leaders that are just for apathy or lack of work ethic.
You're right.
There's a lack of knowledge there. And I think upper management, like you're talking about your C-suite executives, there's a lot of, if we follow culture and values and, if we follow what we're supposed to be doing, that means nothing in a pandemic right now.
Right.
You need to be touching bases with your nurses, figuring out what they're saying. No amount of money, I'm going to tell you as a traveler too, because I have made a lot of money from bedside nursing. No amount of money is worth sustaining a job in a pandemic.
That's right.
You can't guarantee me overtime. You can't pay me hazard pay to question whether I'm going to get sick or my babies are going to get sick. So dangling the carrot of finance is not going to work. And a lot of organizations don't have the money to do that in their budget. They do if they rework things a little bit, but that's a whole other conversation. But so you have to understand why the nurses are going to do this because they have a duty to their patients, but that's only going to last so long.
That's right.
Because they can't keep going.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. Now, what are your long-term goals for the business, and how is it important for you to have these goals for your business?
So ultimately, one of the core values, that actually the name of our company altogether is Cortex Energy Systems, a light and love company. So that means that it's like if someone cuts you off in traffic, it's very tempting to be like, oh my God, you can't drive. And you're like, saying expletives that grandma would roll over in her grave about. But you could always just say light and love and change that. Whatever energy that someone sends to you, you can change it and send it back out light and love.
I love it.
That's the energy transformation that Cortex is about. So ideally, my ultimate goal, I said my manifestation goal the other day, was on my 40th birthday to give 10 million away to a charity of my choice.
You girl.
Away. You know what? I feel like a lot of times in our society, we're seemed selfish if you ask for that type of abundance. But really, abundance is a gift, right? From God, from the universe. And it's the tool. Money is the tool that allows us to do good.
That's right. So
there's nothing wrong with wanting abundance if you're wanting it for the right reasons. So ultimately, it would be, I want to open like a big retreat ranch where people can come and do all kinds of healing, whether that's from the veteran community, which we want to take those 3 pillars of course, community, and change and move them into the veteran and active duty community eventually. But a place where people can come and get healed and experience what it's like to have a world of light and love. And also, I'd like to be able to travel around the world and learn different techniques from all kinds of different religions and cultures, and then bring them back and teach those really awesome stress mitigation and life-changing techniques to our culture and our society.
I love it. You are amazing. Now, who has impacted your leadership the most, and why were they so impactful?
Bad leaders. Bad leaders have.
That's true.
I was like, okay, I see you. I don't want to be anything like that. I'm like, okay. And a lot of time it's a lack of training. Okay, there is that big, are leaders born or are they trained kind of thing. And I think good leaders are a mix of the two. Mm-hmm. Those girls that are described in school as like headstrong and, oh, she's very talkative and blah, blah, blah. All the things that my report card said. Well, that's because now when my son gets those report cards, I was like, go ahead. What company are we owning? Like, no, he's a leader. He's a leader. I'd be like, that's the wrong shirt, In preschool, my mom always tells me the story that some kid came in with the wrong colored shirt for the field trip. And I was like the first one to be like, he has the wrong colored shirt on. But, story.
That's very true.
Yeah, I think there's us. And if you're a girl, it's a whole different thing. Girls are supposed to be quiet and, they're supposed to be nice and they're supposed to be approachable. And then I'm seen as aggressive. Why? Aggressive because now if I have a male colleague that says the same thing, oh, sure, no problem. Yeah, we should definitely change their sedation to that. I'm like,
I just said the same thing. What will you
shave my head and try this?
I love it. Now, how do you define success?
I think success is defined as the amount of people that you can help, the amount of people that you can change their lives, radically change their lives. And I don't think that this whole idea that you have to live in a state of abundance to just give and give and give. I think there's so many ways to change lives based on who you are and what you say, and who people know you for. And I had a nurse on LinkedIn that said, your brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. Mm-hmm. That's your brand. That's who you are. And I think, like, for example, Gary Vee, big business guy, but now he's all about, he's on a spiritual awakening, and he's all about kindness and love and, you know, doing the best things for other people. And he has a voice, and he's using his voice for positivity. He's using his platform for positively in a typical kind of savage business environment where, you know, it's kind of dog eat dog, but he's like, no, kindness is more important. So
that's true.
I think that's the point of being successful, is to lead others to success. You know, you want to make sure that you reach down and pull up those people that deserve to be there alongside you.
And one of the things that Gary Vee is funny that you talk about him, because one of the things that Gary Vee does is cuss a lot. And I remember when I first saw him, I was like, oh my God, he cusses so much. And then I stopped listening to him. And then one of my friends, her name is Trina came to me, and Trina said, you know what? She said, Gary Vee is somebody you should listen to. I said, but he cusses so much. And she was like, no, just listen to him. She said, just get past the cussing. She said, and just listen to what he's saying. And sure enough, if you just tune out all that cursing, then you are, I mean, dude, be dropping some powerful stuff. I mean, social media, I mean, he is all about it.
And it just goes to prove that, like, if you are who you are authentically, and that is your mission in this world, in your life, it will happen for you.
That's right.
And people are very quick to modify who they are truly. Or not do that kind of shadow work where we have to heal those pieces of ourselves that we don't like. That, you know, if someone's saying something to you, it's confrontational, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like that person. Why don't you like them? Is it because they're bringing something to light about you that you don't like about yourself? Right. And that's part of evolving as a person. And I think in nursing, we have those instances, you know, where you're like, oh, that really upset me, but why did it upset me? And is it upsetting because I want to make a change, or is it upsetting because I need to change?
Right. I love it. Now, how do you define wealth?
I think that's a tricky one. I really do think that wealth is something that it is different for many people. And I think there are multiple types of wealth. You know, there's spiritual wealth, physical wealth, financial wealth. And like I said, it's important in the society because it's a tool to allow us to do well. But you can manifest that same type of abundance in all areas of your life. And I think that understanding that, you know, we're created by a divine being that's ultimately love to create more love in the world. Right. And the wealth is the means to get there. But like I said, there's spiritual wealth, there's financial wealth, there's physical wealth, you know, the ability. After COVID, I went to Sedona to quarantine because it was like out in the desert. And I didn't even know what Sedona was, and I'm not an outdoor girl. Prior to my like Sedona experience I didn't like bugs. I was like, I don't want to do camping. I will glamp. Like, as long as I have a down pillow, okay. But now I'm like all into hiking. I'm like out in the nature. I'm like, oh, it's a bug. Don't kill the spider. And I came home from Sedona, and my kids were like, where did our mother go? But it was because I was so grateful to be breathing. And every patient I had at Mass Gen was Hispanic. So like 250 intubated patients, and they were all people of color. Maybe a couple white people, like a sprinkle, but really it was mostly people of color, Haitian Creole, Latino. And after that, I was like running. I was like, I gotta lose some weight because I ain't trying to catch COVID. I'm a Hispanic female.
I know. Wow, that is something right there. But yeah, I'm like you as it relates to the whole glamping, because I was like, look, I need an internet connection. Okay, I cannot. Okay, that's not what I'm gonna do. Okay, I don't even want to go glamping, really. I mean, none of that is what Viola is going to do. Now, where can someone find you and your products?
So we have a website, cortexenergysystems.org. So you
Okay.
can go there, and right now you can see a little bit about the course itself. Right now we're offering this awesome special. So if anybody knows anything about online courses, and usually nurses don't, because there's this whole like nurse and entrepreneur thing that don't cross. You don't teach you anything about that in nursing school, but I'm glad there's many like nursepreneurs like yourself that are really coaching other nurses along. It's great because we need the help. So you can go to our website, but we're running this special right now. The course is $99, and for the holiday season, you can actually sponsor a nurse. So my mom's always asking, what can I do to help you? I see the nurses on the TV, and I want to put you on Ellen, and let me have a picture of you in your PPE. And I'm like, oh God. So she means well, but I'm like, I just want to like do my hair if I'm going to be, I don't want Ellen to see me like that.
I love you.
Ratchet, sweating, like with the thing on my hair started falling out because I started wearing the hair covers all the time. I got to the point where I wasn't covering my hair, and we'd be intubating, right? And the intensivist would be like, Melissa, wear your hair cover. And I'm like, and my hair's falling out. I got good hair. I can't let it fall out because of COVID. I was like, I'm going to go home and shower anyway. It's fine. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, these paper thin gowns aren't preventing COVID from touching my skin. What's the difference of covering your hair? He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. But so we're doing this special. So family members and maybe husbands, this would be a good gift for, you can buy this course for $99. And it teaches like stress mitigation techniques. And it's really cool because I take the stuff that I researched from corporate mindfulness and put it into your actual day, like your busy ICU day. And we have guided meditations. We have all kinds of stuff, very short, 2 minutes you can access from your phone. And there's a lot of different techniques in there that you can use. And the modules are all like 10 minutes long. Super easy to go through, not the typical LMS where you got to click, click, click. And you're like, oh my God, I've heard this 1,000 times. I was like, I don't want it to look anything like that. Nothing like that, because our nurses deserve better. I mean, we have technology out there that can make like Star Wars movies, but we're still clicking through PowerPoints. I'm like, what are we doing? So you can go on there, buy this course, and the first 100 people actually get a box. And it's something that will be available after the first of the year from Cortex. You can do like a subscription box, but it's got the salve in it that I talked about before, the organic salve for your face. It's got essential oil roll-ons. It's got a crystal, which we know helps with energy alignment and just healing properties. It's got some candles, soaps that are made from this company here locally that wanted to do a whole nurse line. So they have like essential oils that are therapeutic, and you can antimicrobial, shower bombs, and then you can pick the different things that you want to go in the box. But right now we have the holiday boxes set up. So the first 100 people will get a box sent to their nurse along with the course. So
Yes, all you ER nurses, ICU nurses, you need to go out and get this, because, the reality is that, we're taught to debrief, right? We're taught to debrief in the middle of the day. And the reality is that, that's typically really hard to put together an organized event in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of an ER period, right? Mm-hmm. And so, these little bitty snippets that you can do in 2 minutes can help you throughout your day. So yes, go out and get that. It has been a pleasure, Melissa. I absolutely love you. I know that we will be friends forever and a day. Okay.
I'm so grateful for you and everything you're doing for the profession. And, it's people like you that pave the way for people like me to come in and, create that radical change that's so needed right now.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce, CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitator of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to equip healthcare professionals to be wealthy in all areas of their lives. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals, to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders like Melissa that have overcome, so that you know that the possibilities are endless. You can follow us on Twitter at The Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please share this video. We have a group called The Nurse Nurturer on Facebook that you can join to receive uplifting content for healthcare professionals. You can visit us at our website at vpnursing.com, and remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and leverage the knowledge that you already know as a nurse.